Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Going Over podcast. It is I, your neighborhood friendly coach, trainer, promoter, and 44-year-old professional wrestler, Zack Primetime Reeb. There it is. I'm joined alongside, as always, my 7-foot, he belongs to me, my 7-foot podcast partner, the Wrecking Ball, Paul Isadora. Paul, I've got the pin. I make the rules, and sometimes we break them. How you doing this evening, my dude?
I'm doing well.
You got the pin.
Well, that pen is just to tell people when it's time to wrap it up. Go home. It's time to give them the old go home signal. Take the glasses off. Stand up. Put your hands on your hips.
We should try that next show.
The go home signal.
You should sit out there and keep doing this.
With the pen.
Yeah, see if anybody notices.
Waves the pen.
I've got the pen. Yeah, I got the Funkle. I've been so busy lately, I haven't been a very good Funkle Zack. I'm waiting for the new wood to be delivered for the new ring. I was unable to go to my nephew's baseball game tonight. I missed my niece's birthday being down in Winnemucca. I still have to get her a present. I would definitely say right now, Zack is in the zone, but Zack might be a POS.
Oh, that's so good.
A pretty outstanding superstar, baby. Working the heel gimmick. Yeah, you know, I wanted to start out by making a quick announcement that as of 4:20 in Cottonwood, California, 15 minutes past Red Bluff and 15 minutes before Redding, a brand new market has opened up with the adult dudes, the arsonist, Don Stockton, and that entire crew of Red Bluff guys that have been doing an amazing job the last 7 shows, creating us a new venue from the fairgrounds to the Red Bluff Community Center in Red Bluff, as we will be opening a new location for Primetime University. It will be the black and orange, the electric orange and black. And I'm really excited about it because so many people, like these guys, have religiously come to us for 3 years now, but they've only made the Sunday classes because we talk about it all the time, verbatim, you know, as you say, ad nauseum. It's hard for people to travel during the weekdays with families and work. So this is going to be just 15 minutes away from everywhere, and I'm really excited about it. It's a nice new venue called The Station. We get in on April 20th. This is not an April Fool's joke, by the way. And the grand opening is going to be Friday, May 15th, the night before we head down to you. A lot of big stuff happening. So you just gotta make decisions, and you just gotta go with them because we get one chance. My new thing, I said it to myself when I quit my job, and I say it to you all the time. I say it to Ugly. I say it to anybody who will listen, and it's my new quote: bet on yourself. Bet on yourself, Paul.
That's it, man. And there's no better feeling than to take that the leap of faith and put all your eggs in your own basket and say, hey, I'm going to do this. You hear so many times where somebody goes, I didn't have a plan B, so I had to make this work. And you put yourself in that type of situation where you put a lot of pressure on yourself, where you go, hey, I have to.
He's sitting in a bad spot. He's going to eliminate here right now. So until Paul comes back and starts, I'm going to give him the old courtesy right now The old courtesy. There's a new logo here on the StreamYard, the Quack Attack. Here we go. He's still cycling. But until he comes back, yeah, so much going on out there in the professional wrestling world. We're getting close. WrestleMania. I heard someone talk the other day about WrestleMania, and they're saying, hey, they used to do it earlier in April. They used to do it earlier in April, and then now they're doing it later in April, and they're running out of ideas. So when you're watching Monday Night Raw, you're like, yeah, pull aparts, brawls, they're running out of ideas. What I'm going to ask you guys out there till Paul comes back on the program, who's the man on the phone with Randy Orton? Who's the man on the phone with the Viper? I've got three things. I've got three options in my head running right now. It's either Vince McMahon, The Rock, or it's Randy Orton talking to the voices. There's nobody on the phone. Randy's talking to himself. So if you're out there, you're listening to the podcast, let's get some comments in the old commenter. Make some comments. Who do you guys think it's going to be? Who is Randy Orton? Week after week now, for the last couple of weeks, who's he on the phone with talking to? Is it A, Vince McMahon? Is it B, The Rock? Is it C, he's talking to himself? He's talking to the voices. Or is it D, none of the above? And if it's D, none of the above, slap in that little comment section right there. Hit us with a like. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get us up. Josh Edlow said we need to get some shorts going. I thought we had those going for a while. Edlow's not wrong. We are podcasters as well over here, and we are waiting for Paul to get back. But put that right there in the old comments. Let's get something going here. Question: who has Randy Orton been talking to the last couple weeks? Vince McMahon, The Rock, himself, or D, none of the above? And if it's none of the above, like I just said, and I'm repeating myself, tell me who you think it is. We're going to wait for Paul to come back on the program here. I would definitely not like to do a podcast all by myself. I definitely need to interact with somebody here on the StreamYard. Coming off a couple long weekends, man. Coming off a couple long weekends. Hey, there he is. There he is.
There he is, bud.
Well, welcome back to
I was just in the middle. I was just talking about betting on yourself, bud. Hey, bet on yourself. Pay for the internet, things like that, right? Get yourself a good Wi-Fi connection. All those things.
I wasn't betting on myself right there, but I did ask a question. I'm going to repeat it for the fourth time. So the first 4 minutes of this program, people are probably going to be pissed at me. So we're looking to get some action in the comments, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on the YouTube, wherever it is. We got some loyal listeners out there. I said, who in the last 2 weeks has Randy Orton been talking to on the phone? I got some ideas. Is it A, Vince McMahon coming into WrestleMania? B, The Rock? C, is he talking to his fucking self? Is he talking to the voices in his head? Or D, none of the above? And if it's D, none of the above, you guys, let's get interactive. You go ahead and tell me if you think it's one of those three. And if it's none of the above, who do you think it is? Who's Randy Orton talking to? Paul, what were you saying before the massive amount of action that we're getting on this YouTube channel that just completely shut you out?
Yeah, well, it's crazy, man. It was just like we're getting so we just don't have enough bandwidth, I guess, to handle it all. When you got so many people watching simultaneously, I tend to get wiped out. So I guess it's a blessing and a curse. But all I was saying is that you're just betting on yourself. You get yourself in a situation where you have no other option except for to succeed. You put a lot of pressure on yourself. You do all the things that you have to do in order to make yourself succeed, right? You don't give yourself any options. You have those people that say, I didn't have a plan B, right? I just had plan A. And if it didn't work, then I don't know what I would have done. Right? I didn't give myself a second option. This was 100% focus on this one option. So, and it's one of those things where when you become successful because you've done that, but because you've bet on yourself, there's no better feeling. I think about, you put all your eggs in, a lot of, so many people have the dream of playing professional sports when they grow up, right? And you just think about those guys that, they do nothing but try to improve, and they try to figure out what's the best path, right? That's the goal. I'm gonna get there. What steps do I need to take? You think about all these guys that, maybe they go in high school, they're not highly recruited. So maybe they go to a junior college, and, junior college, sometimes is frowned upon a little bit, as it's not as good as going to a Division I college or a 4-year school or whatever. But they battle through it, and they make the best of the situation, and take every opportunity to get better, and find themselves at a 4-year school, and then maybe they go undrafted, and but they find a way to battle, whether it's playing a sport overseas, or semi-pro, or whatever it is, finding ways to continue to improve on themselves. And then at some point, they're Vince Papali, right? And they earned themselves a spot on a professional team.
Vince Papali. Mark Wahlberg.
That's it, man. I was trying to think of, it was, there was a promo that was being cut, and I was thinking that would have been a perfect line to throw in there, a Vince Papali line. I don't remember what promo I was watching that I was like, oh, could have thrown that in there. It was a Cena promo for sure. He was talking about it was Cena and Dom Mysterio. I was thinking there could have been a Vince Papali line in there.
I was so tired when I got back. Monday, I was not going to do anything, right? Nothing. I was going to do nothing. And I remember Bad News saying, we have plans to go to Oroville. I took Monday off. I always do after Winnemucca. He loves Winnemucca. And I took Monday off, and we all have plans. I didn't know who we all were, to go to Whataburger, the grand opening of Whataburger in Oroville at the casino. And I'm sitting there going, Whataburger's in Texas, right? Like, they're not opening one at the casino here. I think he's talking about Wahlburgers. And he picks us up, and I look it up online because I was just trusting his weird judgment. And sure enough, it was Wahlburgers. It was not Whataburger. And this guy is so dyslexic, It's funny because I call you Paul, and I remember him talking about when he splashed you. He was just so funny in the car because he was like, "Sorry, Steve." You know what I mean? He's just such a good guy, man. And it's so funny that he thought it. He always thinks like he'll call people the wrong names. He's so dyslexic. He gets places confused all the time. It was like, I was laying on my bed, and I'm like, I don't want to do shit. I just started a new Netflix series, and my doorbell rang. And if anybody's going to give me a fucking pop-up, it's him. And I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm like, you didn't even call me. He's like, yeah, I know, but I told you I was coming yesterday. And I'm like, dude, I don't even remember yesterday. I was running on fumes yesterday. And today I feel like doing absolutely nothing. So, the one thing we were just talking about, it was a story I just had to throw in. I'm like the Charles Barkley of Inside NBA. You never know what you're going to get over here. I could be talking, we're not even talking about wrestling anymore. We're talking about fucking Whataburger. But I wanted to talk about in wrestling too, just like in a relationship. Right person, wrong time. Wrong person, right time. And sometimes wrestling is the same way too. It's, right place, wrong time, wrong place, right time. And what I mean by that is, like when I first went down to APW, it was the right place at the wrong time. You know what I mean? Or it could have been the other way around, because everybody had just left there, and I came in with Ollie and Brian Cage and AJ and Scotty, and we brought, Rick came in, and it was like, it seemed like the wrong time. It was the right place at the wrong time, or was it the wrong place at the right time? And it's like a relationship, man. Like, man, I just got signed to WCW, but they're closing down and Vince is buying them out. You know what I mean? You finally made it to the right place, but it was the wrong time because the company's going under. If that would have been 5 years ago, and I just feel like when I look around sometimes too, as I was talking to Rick the other day, I feel like we got in the business at the wrong time. And what I mean by that is the internet was just bumping. Nobody had really figured it out yet. It was just going from dial up to getting faster internet service, and social media we didn't have what they have now. And it's so easy now to get looked at. And there's so many positives to this, right? And it deals with right place, wrong time and everything, because it's like social media could be such a great place that we could keep kayfabe, and we could really reach out to people and make the audience out there believe that I hate you and you hate me. Social media is also a really great place. It's easier to be seen nowadays. It's so easy to be in contact with people and get stuff out there and get seen. It's everywhere. But it can also be a bad thing because we see it every day where you just see so much. And I'm talking about wrestling. Terrible shit, terrible promos, terrible everything going on. And no offense to anybody out there. Like we say, if you think we're talking about you, we probably are. And the most important thing is keep pumping out them bad matches. Keep pumping out them shitty promos where I get to hear people say, and action, cut. You know what I mean? Like, it's providing me with a lot of entertainment, and it's given me a lot of good ideas that I think here pretty soon, once we figure this thing out a little bit more, we're going to add a couple little, we're going to do what we originally said and add a couple segments to this program.
It's funny that you say that, because Ugly was just telling me how Bishop, the first thing he does when he gets to a wrestling show is goes to the snack bar. And I was like, oh man, we totally wanted to do that segment, right? We wanted to do the snack bar review. And it's like, maybe that's the perfect guy to do it. We could just have him on for the quick segment. It's like, oh, what promotions were you at this weekend? All right, and how were the nachos over at that spot?
Review.
The food review. Yeah. So
the ugly truth. That's another
Yeah.
segment we talked about a long time ago. Have an Ugly pop up for 5 minutes and just have him just tell us what he thinks about a weekend, but really break this shit down. The ugly truth.
That's it, man. There's just so many things that we could talk about as far as that's concerned. And you bring up a couple things that we constantly send each other back and forth, which is bad wrestling matches. You just sent me something that was like severely over choreographed, and it's like this doesn't look like you guys are in any sort of combat sequence at all. It is just battle ballet. If that's a style of wrestling, I just made that up. Battle ballet.
Battle ballet, like it.
But it's just you see that where it's just it looks like it's just okay. Hey man, we got to get to this spot, and hey, let's get to this choreographed handstand, cartwheel, backflip, double reverse, standoff spot or whatever, and then watching promos, and it's people that are what I noticed. A couple promos that I saw over this weekend was, it doesn't sound like you're talking like you're having a normal conversation like we're having on this. It was very like segmented. The guy starts talking about something, and then it's like, an abrupt stop, and then goes into something else, and then an abrupt stop. And I was like, you don't sound natural. It doesn't sound like you're having an actual conversation. Like this is something that you're going to be saying, live to a camera or whatever. You're not saying something like, I can imagine like if you are, you're sitting in your recliner chair and you're just talking about the weekend. It's not going to be starts and stops. It's just going to be a fluid conversation of this is what happened this weekend. We went to this place, we were playing pool, people were having beverages, and it's going to be a flowing conversation. And I feel like a lot of promos are very not like that. It's like, it doesn't sound like you're talking to someone. It sounds like you are just, making stuff up on the fly. You're not doing the things that you talk about when you're thinking about cutting a promo. And it's like, what happened the last time I was at this promotion? Talk about that, right? This guy beat me, so here's my grievance, or here's the thing that I want to talk about. Here's what you're gonna see in there tonight. I'm gonna be I'm pissed off because I lost, and this is how I lost, and you're gonna see a different version of me and things like that. And you don't see those type of things, which gives me a really good indication that people aren't paying close attention to the Going Over podcast.
Well, we know they're not, but it's hard to understand something when you don't understand something. And what I mean by that is we get in this topic a lot of times, and we talk about like, I'm stopping you, right? I'm the heel. I just can't get out of it's a slow start. I can't get off the blocks. And you are just, the audience is behind you. You are just quicker than me. Even if it's by a split second, you're quicker than me. You're out. You countered me faster. You are just on your game, and I am unprepared. And then I stop you. And it gets to this point where I try to talk to people and I say, that first burst, right? Like I've stopped you. Whew. Okay. Yeah. Fuck you people, whatever. Okay. Now that first offensive build up from that baby face, that one might have something behind it. You know what I mean? That might have I come off the ropes or something. It might have a little bit of juice left, but it doesn't have as much juice because I was stopped. You know what I mean? Everything after that first fight back, then when you get knocked down again from it, because you're not at 100%, that everyone after that gets less and less and less. And in turn, as you start to, as the good guy, you start to dive down, the bad guy starts to gain more confidence. He becomes more aggressive, more arrogant, more cocky. He starts talking more shit to the fans, which is the heat. He's getting heat, and his heat is transferring into your sympathy. And they do just that. The heel goes, and the baby goes. And if you notice this, the heel's up here and the baby's down here. And there's two things I want to talk about right there that I don't think anybody really realizes just from my hand placement. The heel is up. The baby's down. The heel is standing tall over the baby face. So he looks in control. He looks in the dominating position that the audience doesn't like. And the babyface now has a chance to garner sympathy so that he can do what? Build himself back up, fight from underneath to get right here even, so that he can now surge back on the audience. And I feel like, not even feel like it too many times the wrestlers think that they have to do choreography after the cutoff, when that's one of the main times in the match that there should be zero choreography.
Exactly. I mean, you're talking about putting heat on a baby face and basically going off of the reaction of the crowd. So there is very little opportunity to know exactly what that situation is going to be like, because you cannot predict what the crowd is going to be doing because of you cutting off the baby face and you putting heat on them. So that is absolutely the time that you're not going to be choreographing anything. You're going to be feeding off of the crowd, right? You're going to be putting heat on this guy, whether it's putting him in the corner and and giving him strikes or whatever, and then taking a step back and almost like marveling at your work and showing the crowd like, hey, listen, I'm in control right here. This is the perfect opportunity for you to get that heat and that baby face to gain some sympathy, as you're beating them up essentially. So so I mean, I can't agree more as far as the choreographing during that portion of the match, right? That's going to be just you gauging the crowd and feeding off of them as far as what you're going to do, putting more heat on, or allow the baby face to fight back a little bit, or whatever the situation calls for, whatever the crowd is trying to get out of this match, that's what you're going to give them. So this goes back to, you've said it 1,000 times about having an ear for the audience, listening to what they're wanting out of this match. How can you entertain them with what you're doing and try to feed into that situation right there?
It's like a good squirter. You know what I mean? It's like having a good squirter, and you're going to have to do your laundry. You're gonna have to excuse me, you're gonna have to put the old sheets in the washer and dryer when you're done, but there's a sense of pride when you look down at that bed. You're just like, yeah, look at this. That's me. I did this all on my own. And that's the idea of the heel. It's a disadvantage. We have to sell the disadvantage. I don't know where people think that we don't have to have a disadvantage. I don't know where people think we don't have to have a story. We do. That's what we're selling. We're selling this character. We're selling this story. I was talking to Christian Sky today, and I was talking about, I can now talk about who are the most over babies in the company. And it was easy to say he had the same names, because that's how well these characters are developing, and that's how well the audience is picking up to them. And I'm like, Maple Gramps, that's the best baby face, no matter where she goes. At first I was like, she's going to be over in her hometown because it's her hometown. And then it's like, oh, here we are in Yuba City. Same shit. Marysville, same shit. Winnemucca, same shit. Urington, Boomtown, Sparks, wherever we go. Sacramento, it don't fucking matter where we go. It's the same reaction over and over and over again. And how do I know this works? Well, Jesse Garcia hadn't been around in 2.5 years. And he comes out the curtain, number 30, and he gets a good little pop. Good little return pop. It wasn't I should win the belt and I should main event the Big Show pop. And then he eliminates Bad News. It's bigger pop. Okay. All right. But then by the time we're done telling the story and I come out 31, him and Sparky, because of the decision and where the decision was laid on, the referee has to make this decision so we know who won this thing. Now they're screaming this guy's name. Now he's never wrestled in Marysville, and he comes out at the Limelight show, way less of an audience, and they pop. They give him the pop he deserved because of a show that happened a month or so before in the way we presented this person. So when he originally walked out this curtain, that was not championship or main event big show pop. When he won the Rumble, okay, maybe he should be in the main event, but maybe not win the championship. But by the end of the night, with the way you're telling the story, this guy could have won the belt that night at the end. And if that would have been the pop he would have got coming out of the curtain. But that's just in 10 minutes. We did these different levels and changes and getting this guy over in 10 minutes. And you can do that with anybody out there. We can do that with any character. If you really just look at it like, this guy's good, this guy's bad. Let's have this guy get the advantage so that the good guy that we want to be good is at the disadvantage. And that's what now you listen to the audience. So when we talk about choreography, like when you're chain wrestling, we don't need choreography. Maybe you tell them what you're going to cut them off with. That's fine. When we're in the heat, we don't need choreography. What we're choreographing, what we're putting together is the comeback to the end of the match. If you got something special you want to do it at the end of the match. Save it. Just save it. And that's all I'm trying to say about how easy this would be if we did this the right way. Nobody's saying you can't do the athletic moves. Nobody's saying this. I'm just saying you don't need to kill everybody's finishing move and every near fall along the fucking way. Because then you're not building to your pop at the end. That's your pop.
True that. Yeah, definitely. I definitely heard I gave Bad News a series of boots, right? All these ones, and then you couldn't. And someone said you couldn't knock him off of his feet, but Zach hit you with one super kick, and you took a bump for that. And I was like, well, he actually did bump on the last big boot, right? The one with a lot of momentum behind it. But it's like that's how you tell the story. It's like not only is it a super devastating finishing maneuver, the super kick, but there's also a foreign object involved, so it's like we're trying to tell this story, and we're not trying to we talk ad nauseum about the wasting finishes, man. Just and we had it in that night as well. We're like, oh, you hit him with the devastating flatliner where the guy takes a fucking pogo stick pile driver type bump, and then you feel like, oh, I got to pick this guy up and I got to hit him with something else on top of that. And the example that I use is when I wrestled in Portland, Oregon, and the finish was supposed to be a choke slam or something of the like, power bomb, sit out power bomb, something. But I catch this guy, and it was just the right combination of things, right? I catch the guy in a sidewalk slam, but the momentum and everything, he just gets so high, right? So he's above on a sidewalk slam, and then when we hit, it's just this big like boom, just a huge bump. And he just says, "Did you hear that?" And I say, "Yeah." And I'm covering him, and he just doesn't kick out. And I was just like, understood right there. We went home with a move that looks like a finish, right? You don't have to go, hey, you just hit him with this huge devastating move that should be a finish, and then you wait till the guy, you let the guy work up to his feet and feed in to the planned finish, because you have to get that in, right? So I mean, we've talked about that a bunch of times. I feel like over the last couple of weeks, that's like, hey, why wasn't that move good enough to be the finish, right? You could have beat him with that, but you had to get another move in, and I think we get too caught up in that, right? We get too caught up in the I got to hit, this move, that move, that move, that move, because I got to get all my stuff in, right? I got to showcase all my offensive stuff, and we get lost with the just telling the story, right? Put this guy in danger of losing, where the fans can get behind him, and then when he starts fighting back and gets to that level that you were just talking about, where you're kind of closing the gap a little bit and you're getting close back to even, where you go, hey, this guy actually might come back and win. We're telling that story, but it definitely gets lost in a lot of the matches that we see, but we love to watch them.
Well, and then it's like, like you take tag team wrestling, just simple tag team wrestling, same concept, except two guys are smothering one guy. And you need to present it like that. Like, you got to get this guy over in the corner, and he has to look like he's done. As a commentator, I need to be like, dude, look at this guy. He's fucking laying in the opponent's corner, hugging the fucking bottom turnbuckle pad. There's no way. And you're getting this over on commentary too. I think I did it with Buck James, where I'm like, Doc, there's no way this guy, look at him. There's no way he's going to recover and make it 16 to 18 feet from corner to corner to tag his partner in. And that's the sell, like, getting over there too quick. You've been getting the shit beat out of you by two people. And the more you do, if this is a 6-man, a 4, a 10, I mean, an 8, a 10, you know what I mean? It's like, now you're getting the shit beat out of you by 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. We got to see a finish sometime where the hot tag never happens. The guy just can't make it over there. He gets cut off when it looks like he gets the separation, and they're rumbling, and he gets close, and the heel drags him back and tags in the other guy, and they put him away, and then this guy never gets the hot tag because it's different. And then they got to come back, and this time they do get the hot tag, but the audience comes back because the audience is going, man, if he would have just tagged him in, if he would have just if Jeffrey Excellence would have just tagged Big Paul in, but on this night, he didn't. And we didn't get to see the 7-footer come in and steamroll the villains and go to whatever finish that decided to happen. So there's just so much we can do in professional wrestling to build these stories up. And a story doesn't have to be using a foreign object. A story doesn't have to be putting your feet on the rope. The story can just be as simple as the story is. This guy mounted a comeback, and he made a mistake, and it just wasn't enough, and he got beat on this night. And now he's got to come back and get a couple victories so he can get back to that place and then secure the victory. You know what I mean? I see too many times in wrestling where it's like somebody makes a big return and then they already throw them in the fucking ring with the guy that they're coming back in the return on. It's like if you're the heel, let's take Shawn Michaels throwing Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window. I mean, that was impactful. And when Marty came back, the Intercontinental Championship happened immediately after, and it happened at the Rumble 93 at the old Arco Arena because my dad took me and I was there live watching it. And then the title change happened on Monday Night Raw somewhere after that, but we already went to it. It's like there's so much more we can do. There's so much adversity that can happen with these characters where we don't have to kill somebody off. We just make the audience, they have to have a conflict. They have to have something in their way to get to where they want to get to. And when they get to where they want to get to, they don't need to accomplish it right away. They can get knocked back down the totem pole a little bit. And it just adds to these guys even more. Just because you turned heel don't mean that you have to be that dominant heel right away. Take some time. Let the heel character breathe. Get some victories and really establish what you're trying to establish in your heel character. If you're a babyface coming back or even building yourself up, like I said before, don't be afraid to let some guys stack up some victories.
That's it, man. Definitely need to. I don't know. Obviously, it gets to the point where it's too much of the 50-50, and nobody ever gets on a run, and nobody ever is telling that story. Like, we've talked about before, where you've got guys building victories, on maybe separate parts of the card, and then you build that story up to where these guys are going to, eventually meet up. Like, hey, this guy's got 4 or 5 victories in a row, and so does this guy, and what happens? Let's see who's the better of these guys that have been on a tear lately. So telling those stories, is how we sell tickets. You get fans get excited, and you get the anticipation of what's going to happen next. And that's what's going to sell those tickets. And people are going to want to come and see what's going to happen next. You think about the, 100%. Hey, we're finally going to get to see Zack versus Paul. And then it doesn't happen. And you're like, yeah. Well, damn it. When am I going to get to see that? I guess I'm going to have to go to the next show and see what happens then. So, but I mean, that's what we're trying to accomplish, man. We're trying to tell those stories and get those people invested where they're going to want to come back and see what's going to happen next. This guy's winning a lot of matches. Is he in line for a title shot, or, what's going on?
Well, like I like to say a lot, whether it's a tag team, whether it's a singles, whatever it is, if you take heel A and babyface A, and for 6 months, you just have 2 spots on your card. You got 8 matches. 8 matches. So 2 of those matches for 6 months, all 6 months are going to be, we're going to put this babyface over on 6 different heel wrestlers, and we're going to put this heel over on 6 different babyface wrestlers. And the audience gets to see these guys winning for 6 straight months. And then you go, oh, cliffhanger, next show, this guy, this babyface who's been winning 6 matches in a row, faces this heel who's been winning 6 matches in a row. And the fans go, holy shit, I don't know who's going to win. I know who I want to win, whether you're for the heels or whether you're for the faces, but you don't know who's going to win. And now the outcome of this, after 6 months of just letting them get wins, the outcome can create the conflict, which could just be the win or the loss and however it happened, to have a great story. Just establish some guys. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, especially these companies that have schools. Don't be afraid to let a guy steamroll 6 wins, whether he's good or bad, and do that for a few months. I mean, if you're, and I don't know why you would be antsy, because if your building's not full, then you're probably moving too fast with these guys, or you're not doing anything at all. So the normies are just coming back and going, all right, they're trying. I've seen it. They're trying to get behind people. Let them get behind somebody. Let them hate somebody. Let some stuff play out, man. Let it. And it's not even about letting it breathe. Just fucking let us enjoy getting to know somebody. I don't know this guy, and nobody's telling me who the fuck they are in a promo either. You know what I mean? They're half these promos I see, they're trying to tell me the whole story in a match that has no story. They're like, Bobby McGill, you think you're tough, don't you? Well, I'm gonna out wrestle you, and I'm gonna make you look like a fucking pussy at this next show. And because this is who I am and this is how great I am. And I'm like, well, I haven't seen you do anything yet. I haven't followed your matches. I don't know what you are or what you're about. So you're telling me how important this matchup is and what you're going to do to this guy. Who's this guy? I don't know. Because you guys didn't take any time to tell me who it is. People are just like, fuck it. You see this? We're just going to field a match and throw it out there. And there's a lot of talent out there, but we talk about all the time. Got to have the talent to be consistent. That's why we run training schools and create our own talent, because we know we can depend on those guys to consistently come back. But just don't rush the story. You know, we all do it. That's why you got to have some good minds around you to go, hey, slow down, Pepper. Don't do it so fast here.
Well, and I think that's what we need. Obviously, we need those minds like that are going to, help the guys out. Rather, and I think we always say the young guys, but I think we've experienced over the last several shows that it's not just the young guys who need to come back and somebody say, hey, what are you doing out there? You need to do this. Try this. Or even if you see something going on before the show where someone's working on something and you go, hey, that's not going to make sense. Or why are you doing that? Or why would you do that? We need those things. I mean, the great example was you talking to me about the promo in Yarrington, and hey, man, I need more fire out of you, man. I need you to be more. There needs to be more emotion. You need to be more intensity. All these different things, and it's like, you think about guys even 20 years in, and it's like sometimes you still need the guy to come up to you and go, hey, the hell are you doing? You need more intensity, or you need more fire, or you need to you need to sell more, or whatever it is, because I think sometimes we get lost and we think, oh, we're doing things good enough, right? Instead of striving to be the absolute best at what we're doing, and constantly looking for that feedback or constructive criticism. And we don't want the come backstage and get a pat on the back and, hey, you did great out there. We want to go, hey, man, what could have been better was this. So having that good combination of guys around, we talk about that all the time, having a good locker room that where you don't have people aren't afraid to come up to you and say, hey, here's what I thought. Here's my honest opinion. And people are also looking for that type of feedback of what can I do better? How can I tell a better story what can we do to further this story that we're trying to tell? What can make the story better? We're always looking for those suggestions and the feedback that we can get to the point where we're doing a fantastic job, and obviously all of that stuff equals selling more tickets and having more fans and selling more merchandise, concession, all those things. All of those things, equate to making more money.
Well, exactly. When I look back at it, and in Urington, the story was the handshake, right? But at the start of the show, you and Jeffrey already shook hands.
Right.
So when I'm trying to get him to shake my hands, they've already seen him shake hands with you. You guys shouldn't have shook hands right away. You should have shook hands after I took that back body drop. He should have tagged you in, and then you guys should have looked over at me and shook hands right there. That would have we didn't need that pop early on, because that already made it. He should have said, yeah, you know what? I will team with you. I'll give you a chance tonight, and we'll see how things go. We'll see if things change. I'm going to give you my best and be your partner, but I'm not shaking your hand yet either. That should have been left up in the air, and there should have been a moment where the handshake happened, or where it looked like it was going to happen and bad news derailed both of you guys or something. So I felt just that simple handshake between you two happened too fast. And that's what I was saying about the energy of the promo, is sometimes it can fall flat. And we don't want the baby face to fall flat. So the heels out here, like we talked about the other week, I'm willing to lose. I'm trying to lose this promo battle with you. So all the stuff I'm saying is I'm trying to lose. And that handshake, if it happens right there, then I've essentially already lost. The decision's already been made by this guy. It's okay for him to team with you, but to see that handshake yet, too early. And those are things that we see after and we recognize, and that's what makes the learning process and becoming a better storyteller and a better booker. But like now there's a great story to tell. I like the boot thing. It was a good practice. I feel like that should have been something we did in Boomtown, which we still can, or it should have been done in Sparks. But also in the same sense, like now there's a conflict because of that finish in Urington with you and Jeffrey Excellence. Now, of course, he ain't gonna shake your fucking hand now. You know what I mean? Like that's the beauty. And like back in the day, we filled these buildings up on me and you, which here we are 15 years later with the opportunity to do it again. Pretty cool, huh? Flipping the roles of both characters. But what's really cool, like back in the day, we don't really realize now, R.I.P. Bradley Rotten, how great this little guy was. Because not only was he willing to take the bumps and go through the tables and take the choke slams and the kicks and everything, he was so good on the microphone getting his clients over. Like, was there really a better manager? Like Johnny LaRocca used to be good and Mac was good, but was there really a better manager with the promo and the clients and what they did than Bradley Rotten? Like when you really look back at it, man, that guy was that was Hogan to Bobby. You know what I mean? That guy was my foil, man. I was always honored that Propane beat me for that belt in that first blood match. And we used my alcoholism and the Jack Daniels bottle with me handcuffed. And that's why I started bleeding. And to see Bradley Rotten standing over me with the PCW championship belt, the one belt he had never won. And I always felt like that was the culminating moment for his character. You know what I mean? Because it had chased me for so long. And he finally, it was almost like Propane didn't win the championship that night. Bradley Rotten won the championship. And he was so close with you that time too. So, man, he was a manager that really fucking got his clients over. And a lot of people piled into those buildings, not just because of his client, but because of him and what he presented as the heel villain who wasn't even wrestling. And I look back at those times, like when we broke down that match, there were 5 minutes remaining in this podcast. But it was just it was a thing of beauty, man. Like the managerial role is just completely wasted nowadays.
Well, and you don't see it very often. You don't see it well used. A lot of times, I mean, I think the Bradley Rotten character was so over because you knew that he wasn't going to kick your ass. It was going to be one of his the heavies, right? It was going to be one of the lackeys that he's way more intelligent than these guys. And he's getting them to kind of do his dirty work, right? You're the person that he has the problem with, but he's not handling that situation himself. It's like, I got this guy to take care of you. I've got an issue with you, but this guy is going to take care of it for me. And I think that fed into it so well. You talk about Bobby Heenan and how it was the same way. It's like you could never quite get your hands on the guy. He would always kind of weasel away or just get out of there without getting touched, right? And then you build up to the point where finally he gets touched, and it's such a big deal when it happens because the fans are just they can't wait to see it, right? Every time they're like, dang it, man, I just wish this guy could get his hands on him, and I'd like to see this guy get his ass kicked, right? He's so annoying, and he gets under my skin and all those things. But those are the things that you think about, just a smaller guy being a manager and talking all that shit, and but never actually doing the physicality themselves. It's always somebody else that they've got doing it for them. So that made that character so much more special, I think.
Sergio would make an amazing manager.
That's it.
God, he would make it. There's a lot of guys I think would make it a great, a lot. That's what I've been doing a lot of. That's what I did in Yerington. I was I was the manager on the outside. And I think that's just something that's really missing from the product. Paul, what we got coming up this weekend? We got Extreme Measures. We got Extreme Measures 22nd.
Pretty big deal.
I got Rick Luxury coming into the airport at 9:00 tomorrow. 9:00. The old Lux man will be here. And I'm just excited. There's a lot going on. Got the NorCal United coming up. Just a little hint drop at it. I'm not going to mention, who yet, but we've already started compiling a very good list for the NorCal Hall of Fame. There's just a lot of good stuff coming up, man. Our May, and I'm like, man, we got prospects in Yuba City. Next night we're in Red Bluff on the 2nd. The next week, we're at Manny's school for the fundraiser in Oroville. And then the next week, we're, I guess we're in Red Bluff for the debut of Primetime University and Prospects at the station, the new building. And then the next night, we're up in Sparks, Nevada at the school, the gym for you guys. And then the next weekend, we're in Winnemucca for 2 nights, 23rd and 24th. That's 7. And then the 29th, we got Limelight. We got 8 shows in May. There's not a weekend off, man. So I'm really going to enjoy after this show, living the dream the next few weeks off. We're closing out here. Let's get some subscribers. Answer the question on the comment about who was that on the phone with Randy Orton. Paul, 30 seconds. What do you got?
Oh, we got your big show this weekend, man. I think that's kind of the focus for right now, getting that place filled up and this, just the story for you and Rick and Sin. So great stuff, man. A lot of excitement coming into that show. Hopefully there's a lot of anticipation of things to come. So
any quick news?
Times.
Any quick news on the training coming up on your end down there?
Oh, I mean, we're gonna get rolling here. We gotta take your advice and start with once a week, man, and just see who wants to be a pro wrestler. And yeah, I think we're gonna try to jump into similar contest that you had. We'll do the answer the call probably in May again, and see what we can get, see what type of turnout we can get, see who wants to be a pro wrestler in Northern Nevada, and hopefully that turns into us having a handful of new students rolling into the big part of the year.
That's all we can ask, Big Daddy. Big Daddy, I'm going to call you today. Big Daddy. Sorry, Steve. For everybody, for the Wrecking Ball, Paul Isadora, for Zach Primetime Reeb, we're putting over. I mean, we're going over.